He's being kind.
The regular meeting of the South Colony Board of Education is now called to order. Roll call, Thomas Blakely is excused, Brian Casey is excused, Stephanie is here, Vincent Forenzo is not here. Have we heard from Vincent?
He's texting me right now. Yes.
All right, we will hear from him momentarily. Rose Gigliello.
Here.
Jennifer Houlihan is excused, Michael Keane,
I'm here.
David Keel,
Here.
Christopher Larrabee is excused, and Robert Misick.
Is here.
Thank you very much.
Clayton said he didn't know we had a meeting.
He didn't know we had the meeting, okay. Can we all please stand for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Just to note, we do have a quorum of 5. We have 5 board members present, which constitutes a quorum. So we can go ahead and vote on our business at hand. Agenda item number 3 are the minutes of our October 21st, 2025 meeting. Are there any questions, comments? Hearing none, I will take a motion. Mr. Keene, second, Ms. Gigliello. On the motion made by Mr. Keene, seconded by Ms. Gigliello, that the minutes of the regular meeting of October 21st, 2025 be approved. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Agenda item number 4, superintendent update, Dr. Perry.
Yes, good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming. Just wanted to congratulate our recent inductees in the Academic Hall of Fame. Last Thursday, we inducted not only 7 new members to our Academic Hall of Fame, but close to 40 students in our National Honor Society. So really well done. Thank you, Mr. Ketchdary and the high school staff, Colleen Clayton. Thank you for all your years of hard work on behalf of the NHS and student inductions there. So just a great ceremony. That same week, Monday, we had our music faculty recital. So thank you to our music faculty, Ms. Faziola and your department for putting on a wonderful faculty recital. I understand they raised over $1,200 for music scholarship, and nice to see intertwine between our staff and our students. They really do a nice job getting our middle school and high school kids and alumni who come back to that event. Special thanks to Stewart Shops donating 100 dozen eggs, 100 dozen of eggs, as well as 100 gallons of milk. They're not giving us the physical milk and eggs, they're giving us cards that we can share with our families. But it goes a long way in helping our families that are in need. And I just wanted to remind families, if you are in need, please reach out to the school buildings. We have a lot of information on our district website on ways that we can assist. And if you are in a position where you can help others, there's also ways that you can get involved. We are doing a collection, the district office and the village of Colony in partnership for personal items, toilet paper and toothpaste and things like that. Many of the buildings are doing food drives. I know coming up the PTSA craft fair on Saturday, they're also doing a food drive. So many of our buildings have done that. So thank you to those that are involved that can provide support. And again, if you're in need, please reach out to staff in our buildings, and we'll be happy to help to the extent we possibly can. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Agenda item number 5, new business. Mr. Masick.
Dr. Perry mentioned it, but I attended both those events too. They were spectacular. The music faculty was great. Academic Hall of Fame, congrats to the Hall of Fame committee. You guys did a great job. 7 great inductees, and it's a great night. So great job by the committee.
Very good. Mr. Keene?
So likewise, I think we were all at the Hall of Fame. The approach, the having it as part of that was well received. The resounding unsolicited feedback was It really was a great format for folks. It's funny, Rose and I were saying, you know, we all kind of went to the same things since our last time. We all got to do Halloween High.
Terrific.
I was able to attend PTA council and share feedback with all those folks. I was at last night's PTSA meeting. As Dr. Perry said, there's a craft fair 9 to 3 on Saturday. We're also hosting football games Friday and Saturday.
Yes.
So
Excellent.
I did get to attend our playoff game. Kudos to those folks for a fantastic season. We also have a Suburban Council champion and Owen Conley, won the cross country for Suburban Council, was third in the section, is headed to states this weekend, next weekend, somewhere in that ballpark. I think it's his third, fourth year in a row. It's a great journey to follow.
Very good.
I think that's everything.
Thank you very much.
And happy birthday.
And happy birthday. Well, seeing that, you know, we have a abbreviated board, we could have really changed the venue to Rusty Nail. But, you know, there's only so many people that 29 wings could have fed. So, yes. Mr. Keo, would you like to add anything?
Sure. First of all, the last time we had a meeting, the 21st of October, there was a concert going on, and I understand that was wonderful. The next night, I did attend a concert at the high school, and it was equally as good. As I said to some of the directors, sometimes in October, the first concert is just a little bit less than perfect. That's a nice way of saying that they're just getting ready, just getting used to each other. But this concert was wonderful. All the groups were good. The freshman orchestra, the freshman sophomore band, the mixed chorus, and the chamber singers were all top of their game. So that was wonderful. Not sure what you think we'll do about the conference. We're going to discuss the conference.
I think we're going to wait until our next board meeting. So
Okay.
we have the entire board.
Okay, so Halloween High we took care of, and the faculty recital, you should have been there. That was wonderful. It was
Great.
commendable by all the people. Mr. Katchadurian, just add my kudos on the Hall of Fame induction. It was wonderful, very well done. I hope you'll have some way to convey to the students who were involved how well they did. It was a nice touch to have them involved. Then November 10th, the highlight of the year at Lyshakil, we had a
The Veterans Day.
Veterans Day celebration, and it was wonderful. I got to get my card here with the names of the people. Mr. Obermeyer, Mr. Policino, and Miss Medved put on a wonderful show because they invited many veterans to be introduced and to talk about some of their accomplishments to the students in the audience who were very well attentive to the show. Mr. Policino's his grandfather spoke, and also Paul Dewey, was that his name? That they veterans who talked about their experiences. Did I say it right? Dow. And talked about their experiences, and the students were rapt. I think they heard everything that was going on, and it was a wonderful experience for all of those people. So that was that. And then I have a message from Mr. Canistracci. The Zone 7 Capital Region and Northeast New York area All-State Music Festival is next Friday and Saturday, November 21 and 22 at Proctor's Theater in Schenectady. South Colony has 8 students performing this year. I won't read all their names, but there's a violinist and a bass and a string bass and a viola, 2 tubas, viola again, and a soprano. The area All-State is equivalent to regionals for athletics. Students were chosen from a 50-mile radius based on high scores at NISMA last year. They aren't just volunteers, they had to perform and be asked to attend. All the students performed at level 5 or 6 and received nearly perfect evaluations. Now, there is a concert at 2 p.m. on Saturday. Tickets can be purchased at the box office or online. Mr. Canestracci also says that he will be there nearly all weekend. And if any of the board members would like to stop in during the rehearsals, he would be happy to show you around and shows when the rehearsals are. So that's another honor for our musicians to be included in that. So I think that's, let me just double check. I got all my lists taken care of here. I think I hit them all. Thank you very much.
Of course, thank you. As you can see, we were very, very busy.
Forwarding that to me just so I can put it
Yeah.
in Friday bulletin.
The Peters.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
I think we were very, very busy. I just would have to say ditto. I think we all attended everything. And another plug for the craft fair. Please go and support the high school PTSA. It is a great place to go and shop and get some holiday shopping in. And that is it for that.
Yeah, it's 100+ vendors.
100+ vendors, and it is at the Mug
Yes.
this year. Terrific. All right, agenda item number 6, communications. Are there any online items?
Nothing on.
All right, we do have a request to address the board, and this is from Samantha. Is it Robes or
Robles.
Robles? I'm sorry,
Everyone gets
Robles.
it.
All right, and Ms. Robles wants to speak on transportation safety. Ms. Robles, you have the floor.
Okay, so I've never done this before, so excuse me if it's incorrect.
No worries.
I wrote like an essay here, so I'm just gonna start off by introducing myself, Samantha Robles. I'm a resident of Colony for almost 30 years. My whole school career was South Colony, and I have children that attend the district, so I'm very loyal. I'm bringing this to attention because I'm really concerned about the safety of not only my child, but of other children. It is my understanding that there is a grandfathered procedure or protocol that's been adopted and implemented where children as young as first grade are allowed to walk from a school bus to their home unattended and unsupervised. Recently, a few weeks ago, my daughter was dropped off at her school bus location. My husband's always 5 to 10 minutes ahead of the actual scheduled time. Just so happens that there was a mishap with communication. They changed the route around and the bus arrived almost 20 minutes ahead. My child was dropped off and left there. She had to run all the way to our house. Luckily, she knows where we live. But just to give some context, she's dropped off right in front of Central Avenue. That's a very busy road, and right in the parking lot of a very infamous motel where there is an extensive criminal history, homicide, drugs, human trafficking, just to name a few. So it's very concerning. And first graders are as young as 5 years old, depending on where their birthday lies. And I feel like that's a huge issue. I get that, transportation is really important. There's, convenience. They have to get to other locations and meet other parents. So they don't want to stall or delay or anything. But I feel like maybe that can be adjusted to ensure the safety of the children is the utmost priority when it comes to transportation. The American Academy for Pediatrics doesn't even recommend children younger than 10 years old to walk home. They don't feel like they're ready for that, just on a cognitive level and a developmental level. Some children even older than that may not be ready for that, depending on where they are or if they have any disabilities or delays. So I feel like that should be evaluated. Maybe this is something that can be voted upon or discussed with parents. Maybe that's something that can, at the beginning of the school year, like say, are you comfortable with this? If you're not there. I work for Child Protection, just to give you my background, and we take reports all day long on children being left in the safety of their home at 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. So for a child to walk on a street unattended, I feel like it's a huge safety issue. So that is my point to address. I hope that, the board would advocate for the change in that procedure, especially since there's no litigation. There's nothing really set in stone for it. it would be great to set something for the future, set in stone, something legal, so that, you know, the safety for future children are also protected. It's kind of.
Ms. Robles, thank you for bringing this to our attention. Your first presentation was perfect. We will definitely look into this. We will look at this, we'll take this to our policy committee. And Dr. Perry?
I can certainly follow back up with you.
Follow back.
I'm aware of the incident. I know we made some corrections so that it won't happen again with your child, but you bring up a good point. Right now, the rules really center around kindergarten, door-to-door drop-off, but we can certainly look at it from a policy perspective and a safe schools perspective. Thank you for bringing it to our attention.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, this begins the regular business of the board. Agenda item number 7, board committee reports. Agenda item number 7A, accountability and board operations. The report is hyperlinked. Mr. Misick, if you have any comments, you may make them at this point, or if anybody has any questions, Mr. Misick would be happy.
Anybody have any questions? It was a very good meeting, well attended.
Mhm.
We got that. Questions?
Questions,
No,
comments?
I was there.
You were there.
We were all,
Okay.
we're spending a lot of time together every day.
Yeah.
All right. 7B, strategic planning, Ms. Gigliello.
Any questions?
Any questions?
I were all on this one too.
All right. That brings us to agenda item number 8, reports for information. Middle school academic update. Middle school principals, Jill Penn and Michael Marone, will give a middle school academic update. Ms. Penn, Mr. Marone.
Thank you for inviting us back this evening. We're excited to be here tonight. Presentation will be here momentarily.
For the record, Mrs. Penn was casual today. She went and put on her presentation
My
outfit.
presentation.
So we were talking earlier, she had spelling bee and other things.
Oh,
So
that's
doing phone booth double duty.
Thank you very
I
much.
did it.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Appreciate the effort.
Excellent, thank you. So, all right, so we do have a new picture of the building. This is what the outside of Leisure looks like now.
Look
When we
at that.
first looked at it, it's much better.
Yeah.
We don't have all the trees in the way. But, you know, the work that's been completed outside of our building has just not only drastically changed the inside and the experiences for our children, but even as you approach the building. So we do appreciate your support of that, or for that topic of, I guess, really the focus of our entire last 2 years. So there's a lot going on. But both of our buildings, as you know, we kind of are a blend of an elementary model and a junior high model. We have our 5-6 students who are transitioning in with us, and then they make that leap in 7th grade to really more of a model that's familiar at the high school level. The course offerings, obviously, we want to develop their foundational skills and prepare them for the future. One of the things that I think Mike and I both have learned, having been at the elementary level and the high school level as well, is that middle school is really the place where you can have a huge impact on students and their ability to be successful in the future. It's where they realize for the first time that they are the stewards of their own path. And if you can get them to feel empowered by that information and knowledge, then you really can set them up to face the challenges of the high school. And of course, we do have our capital projects going on in both buildings. Right now, obviously, there's a lot more going on at Leisure than there is at Sand Creek, but Mike is gearing up, so I try to keep him informed. Our numbers have changed a little bit. We're up at 651 and Mike is at 864 kids. So still a big difference in the numbers between the buildings.
So as we thought about, I think it was a year ago that we were in front of you and we thought about how we wanted to approach this presentation, what we looked at was trying to tie 3 different themes to the things we're gonna highlight. I think like most things in the district, everything that happens at the middle schools ties back to our 4 district pillars, which we have listed, the academics, wellness, character, and community. So that's one of the themes you'll see tonight. The other 2 themes, one relates to how our middle schools are supporting the District Vision 2025. And as you can see, we recognize that that includes those dynamic classroom experiences, the culturally responsive and inclusive both classrooms and school buildings, opportunities for multiple character education and recognition opportunities, and also finding new and innovative ways to further our family relationships, our community partnerships. So that's the second theme you'll see. And the third theme you'll see on the next few slides really relates to how the middle school can begin to support the conversations that are happening as we look at the new Portrait of a Graduate across our districts. So as we move into this next slide, you'll see the Portrait of a Graduate, the 6 highlights of that you'll see interspersed into these slides, and we'll highlight some of the things that we believe really address that portrait of a middle schooler as it relates to where we fit in the district Portrait of a Graduate work that'll be ongoing. So pass it back to Mrs. Pam.
We have some accelerated course opportunities for our students starting in 7th and 8th grade, although we do have students as young as 6th grade taking accelerated math depending on their abilities. And then we give them the opportunity to go to the high school. So to take some math classes. So we have kids every year that are taking them right over to the high school. So we're really fortunate that we're able to schedule that. I know that the high school, when they're building their master schedule, is always very mindful of having a course first period so that our kids are able to go and then return to the building in time for period 2. So, that really does take a lot of collaboration, but we do value those opportunities for kids and we want to make sure that they continue to exist. We also have earth science, obviously in 8th grade for our students, and that lab opportunity I think is really one of the most authentic opportunities they have as they prepare for the high school. Although they've had labs before at the lower levels, it's really very different, as we all know, when you're preparing for Regents and you have these requirements that you have to fulfill. Academic support for learners, we have a new AIS opportunity this year with our literacy lab. We are looking for opportunities to support our students, not just as readers. So reading at the middle level, as you know, obviously is kind of unique. You think about little kids coming in and some of them still are struggling. They don't have that phonemic awareness. They really do struggle with comprehension, and reading just as a basic skill is not something that they've mastered yet. When you get to the middle level, we did have reading opportunities, but there was always that gray area because it was more about comprehension. So the kids could read, a lot of them had that phonemic awareness, but when you started to get into comprehension and writing about what you're reading, they really were not prepared to do that. So the addition of the literacy lab this year, grades 5 through 8, is going to hopefully fill that gap, and we're very excited to see already the opportunities that our kids have had that they didn't have previously. And of course, we've had our math lab the last few years. We're still looking to expand those opportunities to support students at the 7th and 8th grade level. Mr. Marone and I do share somebody who goes back and forth, so on opposite days, we're able to scoop up some of more of those 7th and 8th graders. We do find particularly that move from 7th to 8th grade with math, it becomes a lot more demanding. So kids that might not have been on our radar as 7th graders are popping up and can use the support. But our staff does a great job of using the data that's available, looking at where kids are successful, where they're struggling, and even if it's just for a semester, trying to get them in, fill in those gaps that the kids have and then send them back out. There's nothing better that we can do as an organization, I think, than push kids when they are ready, but when they're still within that same grade level. When we take kids all the way through the year and we say, oh, you're doing a great job, you're growing as a reader, you're growing as a math student, but we never let them go and try it on their own. Our actions don't really match what we're telling them, and kids know better than anyone if we're being authentic. So we do try to seek opportunities to let them go in the middle of the year so that if they're struggling, we can give them some more support, but also at the same time, really giving them that confidence that we know they need as learners.
In addition to the core academics that Mrs. Penn just described and all the different ways that we're supporting students, we also are proud of the exploratory experiences we provide, which are very experiential in nature, designed to really expose students to a variety of different areas. At the 5th and 6th grade level, it's more of the traditional elementary experiences. You have your art, music, PE. We do have a computer applications course, which is a little different than the K4, but a fairly traditional exploratory experience that aligns pretty well with the K4 level. As students move into 7th grade, we do give them the opportunity to expand. There's Spanish and French offerings. We have our exploratory block, which includes health, art, home and careers, and technology. Additionally, PE. Our music offerings at the middle level, I think, would rival any districts. I think our students receive a real rich experience beginning in 5th grade with performing groups. Every 5th and 6th grade students are part of performing groups. So I think we're both proud of the fact that we do offer a lot of exploratory experiences that really are designed to help students decide where they fit in, what their interests are. And along with that comes the opportunity for that project-based learning, which ties to those 21st century skills. A lot of those exploratory experiences, including tech and STEM, really showcase that, as well as Mrs. Penn mentioned, our science labs are another area that you'd see that. One of the pieces that came from some conversation last year that relate to project-based learning opportunities would be, we're going to pilot this year with a group of students the opportunity for them to earn a point towards the Seal of Civic Readiness. We have a group from our Youth Bureau students who will be attending the annual Youth Leadership Summit. Those students will follow that up with a presentation. We will look at that process to hopefully then have a larger scale implementation of that point process for students in the school year 26-27. So we are excited about that. That was some ongoing conversations last year that will continue this year and into next.
Digital citizenship, always a fun topic. In both buildings, we started our open house with presentations to families, not only to talk about our bell-to-bell policy, but also the importance of monitoring and keeping track of what your kids are doing online. One of the things that Mr. Millington said to all the parents is if your kids are in a group chat, get them out of it immediately. There's nothing worse than a group chat. They're very savvy about how to include kids that really don't even know they're being included. For example, we had a young man over the course of one of the long weekends, he got a couple of teachers' phone numbers. You know, there's the magic of the internet. So he was messaging teachers, and each time the teachers would block the number, he would pick somebody else from his address book. And so then it would go through again because they didn't have that number blocked. So as we started investigating this, there's names of kids coming up who had no idea that they had even been included. So we did want to encourage the families not only to keep tabs on those conversations that kids are having, but more importantly, to discuss with their kids the choices that they're making about the information that they're sharing, even with kids that they think are their friends. So that was really important. But if Mr. Millington can do anything, it's going to be to with the group chats. That is his focus this year. We were also chatting on the lobby on our way in. Really, in terms of the cell phone, we have not at either building had major issues. The policy, our bell-to-bell policy, which we really reinforced last year, is something that has been a very smooth transition for our kids. So that's been a positive. The character recognitions and awards, both buildings have opportunities to recognize students for demonstrating good character. I know that Ms. Fazioli and Mr. Monroe were talking about getting that information up for their families. They just had another recognition opportunity. We have shifted this year. We have a student recognition committee, and they decided to take the Wolfpack acronym, and they have different character traits for each of the letters. So starting this first month, we'll be recognizing students who are demonstrating the character traits that the group identified and selected. We also have our gotcha passes, so we try to catch those kids making good choices each and every day. And once a month quarterly when we have those recognition ceremonies, we make sure that we have one of those names out, and we have our big winner. And the kids have been very excited about it. We were hesitant when we first went into it, but you really have to remember that middle schoolers are kind of like elementary students, but bigger. And so they love nothing more than getting a lollipop or, being up in front of their friends with a certificate. But it was really exciting to see because that can go sometimes either way when you're talking about making good character choices. But we try to model that with the kids, and more importantly, reinforce with them when they're doing things that they should be doing. And that has made the difference for us, and I'm sure with Mr. Morone and his team over at Sand Creek as well.
In addition to that, I think at both locations, we continue to try to find unique ways to improve our communication. We use the traditional methods that I think most folks in the district use. We have Parent Square, we have our Aspen Parent Portal. We're also trying to find ways to get families into the buildings. I think our open house event is a good way that I would showcase us trying to rethink an event that we've done the same way for many years. This year, along with Ms. Fazioli, kind of taking a lead on piloting a new model, which the hope was it felt a little less formal, a little more exciting and inviting for families. What we found was that our traditional model was pretty rigid in that if I'm a family that could only get over for 30 minutes, I might not be able to visit the people that I wanted to visit. This was a little more free form. Families could come. We had Wolfie was there. We made it more celebratory. And our hope was to get, and we have been collecting feedback from both families and staff on, did it accomplish what we wanted it to? Did families receive the information that's important? So that's one huge piece of open house, but also did families appreciate this opportunity as a less formal, I can come and go a little bit less rigidly. So I think, I know Ms. Penn said that they were looking at also trying something new. So that's just an example of ways that we're trying to rethink our traditional ways of communicating to increase that community engagement. The other piece that we have on this slide that I would just highlight, and I'm actually going to have Ms. Fazioli speak to this a bit. Both buildings use Sweethearts and Heroes as one of our foundational character ed programs. That group really talks about the importance of standing up for others, really great message. And along with that, they do a training that implements what's called community circles. Members at both buildings have been through that training. Many of our classroom teachers will use that within their rooms. Ms. Fazioli, I pointed out, I'm going to let her speak on this just for a second because she did two things that I think are worth noting. One, last year she took that concept and she applied it to trying to improve student attendance. She had attendance circles that used the same tenets of the community circles. And also she recently presented at our SANES, the SANES national or the annual convention up in Lake George on that topic. So Rachel, if you want to just give a quick plug for the work you've done on that.
Well, okay. Anytime I have the opportunity to talk about the cool things that happen in our building and the district, I'm all in. And so when SANES had a call for tabletop presenters, I sent in my paper for community circles and they accepted. They actually asked me to do both of the presentations, both of the sessions. And I was happy to do so. And the cool thing was both sessions were different. So my first session had about 15 people all kind of crowded around one table. None of them had ever been part of a circle. They didn't know how to facilitate and they didn't know how to start one in their building. And so I was able to do a true circle with them. We had a talking piece, we did the guidelines, and it was awesome. My questioning kind of walked them through how they could do this in their building, but also gave me some feedback on what they needed. The second session had all seasoned administrators who had used Circle from restorative to what we do in our building as building community. And so instead of doing a circle there, we talked about how they might be able to use that as a flexible concept in their building, whether that's for absenteeism, which is working, right? Talking to kids, why are you not here? What do you need? Giving them those mentors and using the circle to facilitate that conversation. And also getting teachers to talk to each other, groups of people within the district that don't always get to, like bus drivers, TAs, monitors, and opening up that line of communication. So I left energized, they left energized. We've been communicating via email, and so it's really been great. I appreciate the support from the district office and from Mike for giving me a day off from work. So thank you.
Very good.
Thanks, Rachel. Back to Jill.
So community pride, obviously, we've all been involved in Colony for a number of years, and many of us, as Ms. Robles talked about, have been fortunate to see that students that we've had in the classroom come back to raise their family here. Community in Colony is really, I think, a very important thing that we all value. Raider Fest is something that I think, regardless of the building, does. Sorry, guys, I've been here way too long.
Wow.
Hack Fest, yep, sorry.
How'd you go?
Time to leave, huh? I can go home. Hack Fest is something that, when I was at the elementary level, I think the high school staff did a great job of making that appealing to our elementary students, and they do the same thing all the way through. So that is truly, I think, a wonderful example of a community event. We also at Leisure have Wolfpack Wednesday, so everybody gets out their Wolfpack gear. That's what
Oh, that's nice.
wearing earlier today. But it does help to build community. The kids get excited about it. We have spirit days, all of those things that you can do just to, I think to have kids feel like when they walk in the door, they're excited about something. And certainly we're all excited about learning math and ELA, but when you walk in and you and your best friend are wearing the same pajamas, it just seems to make the day a little bit better. So those are the things that we both try to do at our buildings to make the kids feel connected. and community service opportunities and partnerships. I know that Mike had spoken about Youth Advisory Board. Our students that are on Youth Advisory Board each year have an opportunity to pick something that they as a group want to reach out with regard to. So last year, the students at Leisure Hill wrote a letter to the supervisor to ask about the installation of sidewalks on our end of the community. We saw a lot of the kids talked about the difficulty of, leaving their neighborhood and trying to get someplace else, not a lot of sidewalks on our end. And, that was something that they were very empowered by. He wrote them back. I know that Sand Creek also had an initiative that they were interested in. So just getting them to understand that they have a voice and a role in their community, I think is very important. Through our student councils in both buildings, I know our kids and the 7th grade who were at Sand Creek, we make an effort to get out and give back. There's something I think that the kids learn from that experience, and they leave. And I know, having talked to Amber a little bit this year about Toys for Tots, because we're fortunate enough to be the kickoff location to show off our new auditorium, just to get the message to the kids. It's not so much that, we're here to win a competition or, have more toys than anybody else. It's that we're going to make someone's day, someone's holiday a little bit brighter because we're giving it ourselves. So that we're going over to work at the food bank. So just different things that the kids have voted on doing and that they're interested in doing to support the members of our community. And I know like your 7th grade day has been pretty expensive as well.
Yeah, we do our 7th grade next Friday, goes out into the community, has a community service day. And that really ties to the idea of making sure that our families have what they need. Along with these community activities that we're talking about, a lot of them relate to how can we make sure that we're helping families in need. That includes food drives, Toys for Tots. I think both buildings have a version of what we call Helping Hands at Sand Creek, which is a group that really targets families, not just around the holidays, but throughout the whole school year. So, I think that's a major piece, and it ties together nicely with all of the community service opportunities. And then, the final piece is just the continued capital improvements that are happening, which will continue to upgrade our facilities, make sure that our students have the best and most engaging environments to work from. I know I can speak for just Jill and the conversations we've had about some of the great things have come at Leisure with the capital improvements, and we're excited for the next phase as we look at some upgrades to our auditorium and some of our other larger spaces. So again, thank you to the board for your continued support that way. This is my 9th year at Sand Creek. I don't know how many of these I've done, but I've done a few and enough that I'm running out of bridge pictures. Because if you've heard this, you've heard me say that one of my favorite analogies is that middle school truly is the bridge. We take students at a really formative time, and I don't know that there's a time quite like the 4 years they spend in middle school from a transformation standpoint. Students really have the opportunity to figure out who they are, who they want to be, and we're really excited to be a part of that journey. I think when I think about that bridge analogy, I just think about that opportunity for transformation. I would want to just give a shout out for folks who don't know, the team that's here, Mrs. Wells, Ms. Fazgioli, and Mr. Morrissey are all part of the Sand Creek team. I know Jill's team would want to be here tonight, but a real talented group of people. That's the administrative team and just the many from teachers, support staff. Middle school is a unique place. It might be one of the only places in the world where the quality of your day depends on whether or not you accidentally say the numbers 6 and 7 next to each other. And you don't want to make any hand gestures. But it really is, you have to be someone that really enjoys that age group. And we're both lucky enough to work with a lot of people who do. So speaking of that, let's hear from some students in particular.
All right, Ashton Goodman is one of our 7th graders, and he was a roving reporter. So he wrote some questions, ran them by the administrative team, and then we worked with Ms. Lenseth in our communications department. She came over and we invited some kids down, and between Dana and Ashton, they figured out how they were going to interview kids and get a better idea about what it's like to be a middle schooler and a middle schooler in the middle of construction.
No, hold on. I know, the sound is not coming to the speaker.
Oh, gosh.
Also, a lot of that with them. Sorry about that.
I'm Aston Goodman, I'm in grade 7, and this is the Lecture Field presentation. What's your favorite thing about being a student on Sherman?
The teachers are just like really supportive and awesome. Like it's nice just being fun with friends.
What was something important about going to middle school and how did you overcome that?
My worry was being bullied, but apparently there are no bullies. So it's just nothing.
Let's do it.
Good job.
A lot of construction lately. Anthony, were any of your classes moved this year?
So a lot of classes moved and I almost wanted to into my own class.
Yeah,
Wow, it's interesting.
that would be bad. How you like?
It's my favorite school and seeing outside.
What do you think about the new auditorium? Does it make it better in there?
Yeah, I think it makes it better because all like the lights just makes it stand out.
What event are you looking forward to? Attending the new auditorium?
Probably concerts and things, and places like that, and I think it was something.
And what are some clubs that you'd like to see?
I have to get involved in many clubs. This trip, so I think we should get added to some club. This is a song tonight. And I feel like we should be.
What are you most excited about as you prepare to go to high school and college? I'm most excited about being able to meet new people and get to experience new classes. I asked my final reports. I hope you have a good time. That concludes the presentation. I'm asking for the see you.
Each member will track productions at the high school hopefully.
Exactly. So, they were very excited to share with you a little bit more about their experiences. So
Kudos to
appreciate
Ashton.
your support.
Very good.
Yes, Ashton's excellent. I remember Ashton in 5th grade, he came in and, he was one of my, I tease them all, like, you're not secret agents, like, they're talking to their arms and like getting rid of the watch, he's like, we need this club, we need that club. I'm like, I need you to follow my rules, and then we'll start to talk. So Ashton really, from 5th grade to 7th grade, he was one of those kids, as Mark and I sat down this summer and talked about youth advisory board. We said, this is a kid who, he's not always one of those kids who's gonna 100% follow what we're doing or what we're asking him to do, but he's a kid that's a thinker, he's engaged, and he's looking for opportunities to grow, and those are the kinds of kids we love to give those chances to. He went to his first youth advisory board meeting, looked at me and he said, thank you for putting me on this, Mrs. Penn, I love this. So when we were thinking about putting this presentation together, we knew that he would be somebody who could really knock it out of the park for us. So, but as Mike said, it's a unique group, middle schoolers, but you just have to be willing to go with the flow. And we both are, but we do feel very fortunate to have your support and to have had the opportunities that we've had here in South Colony, but more importantly at our two middle schools. So
Thank you.
Great job.
I would just like to second the motion that the auditorium is wonderful. The presentation the other day was great because of the auditorium and the people there. Also, Sand Creek has their play coming up very soon, so
It's, tomorrow's opening night. Honk Junior, don't miss it.
Honk.
Honk Junior.
Junior, don't miss it.
but I'd like to ask another kind of question. That is, what do you do for the student? Their bodies are changing, their minds are changing. What are you doing for you had lots of academics for those kids that are go, but what about the kids that are reluctant learners or their bodies are changing, they don't know what the heck's going on? What are we doing for those, quote, disaffected students?
I think, and I'm sure Joe can add on to this, but I think when I think of who you might be talking about, I think the key piece is we try to identify adults that can build relationships with those students. I think understanding who those students are is key. And then it's how do we connect them to, if they are somewhat disaffected, well, what would hook them back in? I think that in my mind, I think of all the different extracurriculars we offer. When you talk to a lot of our middle school kids, they may not be coming every day to school for the math and the English, but they might be coming for Honk Junior or for their music class. So we find those students, who are they, and what ways can we invite them into things that might re-engage them. When you talk about, when you mention the changing, we do have programs that, we have a 5th grade maturation program that specifically talks about the changes that go on. So, you know, that there's some educational pieces to that, but I do think it's really, it's knowing your students is, you know, I think, both our buildings do a really good job of honing in on who our kids are and then really get into that puzzle of what can we do to hook them in. So it's understanding the who and then just kind of working with them on what could we do to get you to be more engaged.
I appreciate that answer. It's heartening to hear that.
I have to speak, it speaks volumes about our adults as well. Last year, one of our teachers who was first year with us, volunteered to come and chaperone a dance. And I said, you know, that's Ms. Kulikowski's our French teacher. I said, oh, it's exciting that you're joining us tonight. She said, I struggled in middle school. I was not a kid who, you know, felt like I could be out there and connect. And she said, I wanted to be here tonight because I know there's also kids that feel that way. And I wanted to make myself available to help to support them. So, you know, when I look at what's happening at lunch, the adults that are getting involved in supervising our lunch periods and, you know, connecting with kids and talking to kids and just trying to start from a place of building relationships as opposed to a place of being punitive, I think is what makes the biggest difference and helps those kids who might be on the fringes to pull in. And also the initiative that we focus on with attendance the last 2 years as a building. That has been essential in, I think, connecting some of those kids. I know the circles, obviously, that are in place over at Sand Creek has made a big difference. I recently observed Alana Pearl, who's one of our guidance counselors, working with our 7th and 8th graders. And, you know, she's trying some different things with the kids, some positive mindset, as opposed to coming in saying, oh, I forgot my lunch. You know, how can you kind of reframe that? Because really sometimes it is just about that attitude. And one of the things that the kid said, and I said to her, you know, how much did you pay him for this? And she said, nothing. Andre said, you know, I was excited to come today because I knew I was going to get to meet with you guys. And so it was just him and 4 other kids in 8th grade that were struggling to get to school on time. And, you know, the kids do feel like that opportunity to just talk to people that are having similar challenges and brainstorm together has been a positive. So I can't say enough about, you know, what the staff in both of our buildings are doing to constantly reframe the conversations with our students, regardless of the initiatives in front of them.
Thank you all.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
have one person's home with a baby, so Mr. Millington's 3-month-old was not cooperative last night, so he apologizes that he wasn't here. And Ms. Grenier, who did plan to be here, her mother is ill, and unfortunately she's with her family this evening, so they both felt badly that they weren't able to join us.
Not at
But
all.
I did wanna share with you their
Not at all. Thank you
thanks for
very
your
much.
support.
Of course. All right. Agenda item number 9, reports and recommendations for action. This goes from letter A to letter H. Please speak up if you have any questions or comments. I will make note of letter G, donations from the VFW Post 8692 Ladies Auxiliary. Various school supplies, thank you very much, VFW Post 8692 Ladies Auxiliary, very much appreciated. Any other questions? Hearing none, I'll take a motion. Ms. Gigliello, second. Mr. Mesick. On the motion made by Ms. Gigliello, seconded by Mr. Mesick, that the above stated reports and recommendations be approved, all in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Agenda item number 10, personnel instruction. You can find these on pages 8 through 11. Mr. Robolati, any comments?
Yeah, I'm pretty straightforward business. We have some welcome backs on some leaves, some dates we know people are returning, and then some dates in the future, people who are clarifying, and they'll be able to return. Welcome to Sophie, an alum. You know, we do like our alum around here, so we will continue the tradition of Norton educator for many more years.
That's
So we just
terrific.
Started with Sophie,
That's correct.
and just some business cleanup for the rest of it, appointments and other activities.
Any questions?
No,
Hearing
I thought you were
none.
looking for a motion.
Motion to approve, Mr. Keen, second, Ms. Gigliello on the motion made by Mr. Keen, seconded by Ms. Gigliello, that the instruction personnel changes listed on the attached sheets dated November 12th, 2025 be approved. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Agenda item number 11, personnel support, pages 12 to 14. Mr. Ravalati.
Always good when we have many more appointments than we have resignations, and two of those resignations are the good kind, when they're taking other jobs in the district and the
Very
vacancies, so. Lots of appointments, a couple bus drivers in there, which is fantastic. So we continue to try to round out our needs of transportation. That's about it.
Perfect. Thank you. Any questions? Hearing none, motion to approve, Ms. Gigliello, second, Mr. Mesick. On the motion made by Ms. Gigliello, seconded by Mr. Mesick, that the support personnel changes listed on the attached sheets dated November 12th, 2025 be approved. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Agenda item number 12, budget calendar adoption. Ms. McAllister, we're starting, is that right?
This is
Tonight.
the start before the start.
The start before the start.
Yeah, we have to adopt a budget calendar every year. This is our formal way of doing that, and we will start meetings in December.
All right. Are there any questions? Hearing none, I'll take a motion. Ms. Gigliello, second, Mr. Keen. On the motion made by Ms. Gigliello, seconded by Mr. Keen, that the above stated 2026-2027 budget calendar be adopted. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Agenda item number 13, resolution, American Education Week, Education Support Professionals Day, Native American Heritage Month. Mr. Cachadorian.
Yeah, so put together a document that Ms. Lanigan has shared with everyone. We looked at trying to have more of a collaborative approach from this point of resolutions moving forward. Just to get everyone on the same page, have more complementary interactions among our 5 elementary, obviously our 2 middle, who already do a fantastic job of that, and our high school. We have a shared document where everyone kind of allows for breadth and depth of what we're doing, and then you put together a summary of what that looks like for everyone. Kind of partake and take it as it is, but everyone is always doing a wonderful job of making sure that these resolutions are getting executed, and we're finding venues for it to be academically celebrated as much as we have opportunity to celebrate like our professionals in the sense that we should be, and making sure that everyone feels their level of support is equally matched by those who are running our buildings.
This is true.
It's interesting. It's only a week.
That's it. That's all you get. Today's the last day, so get your cheers in today.
Get your cheers in today. Thank you very much. Very much appreciated. I'll take a motion. Mr. Keen, second. Ms. Gigliello. On the motion made by Mr. Keen, seconded by Ms. Gigliello, that the above stated
I
resolution
thought we had a rhythm.
be approved. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Agenda item number 14, future meetings. Any questions? All right, it is anticipated that we will be entering the executive session at this time. We're going to be discussing an employment matter. So I will need a motion. Ms. Gigliello, seconded by Mr. Mesick. On the motion made by Ms. Gigliello, seconded by Mr. Mesick, to enter the executive session to discuss employment matter. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Time is 7:24.
You're good.